right of every citizen.
It is.
Didn't we agree on that?
That's right. I do agree.
Right.
This is the freedom of speech is granted to everybody in here. The freedom of demonstration is given to everyone, but the freedom of destruction is not granted to anybody. If you're constructing the country, go ahead and construct it, but do not destroy it. And you see many of the demonstrations that took place and the protests that ever took place during the past 10 months, all of them ended up with either casualties of dead people, injured people, fire everywhere in establishments, which is, you know, not a peaceful way like the tamarrud, which is until now a peaceful way of offering or saying, expressing your views, which is fine. I quite agree to this. And I will come back to the tamarrud, which I have mentioned this here a couple of weeks ago, concerning the 7 million that they announced, that they have votes for 7 million people signing for the petition and for the campaign. I doubt this statistics. It's doubtful. And you had people coming to the TV and to the studios over the space channels announcing that they signed 100 petitions. Someone announced that Ahmed Fuad Najm mentioned that I signed 16 of them. Another one mentioned yesterday that wherever I go, I take one of those petitions and I sign it. How fake this number is, or the percentage is, it is fake. It's not authentic.
But even if the number isn't, because I'm going to be talking about that later on in the program, but even if this number, as you say, isn't perhaps valid or isn't...
It has to be considered.
It has to be considered,
It has to be considered. I agree to this.
But that's what the people...
I didn't say that it's not their right.
But
it
this
is their
is what
right.
the people are concerned about. People don't feel that they're being heard. They feel that they're being overridden by the authority or by the presidency or by indeed the Muslim Brotherhood when it comes to their concerns, and that they have a plan and they're on that track to that plan. They're not listening to the people and what the people want. Their daily grievances, as Mr. Sharif pointed out, are not being considered. Water, food, bread, electricity, which is a basic human right, to have it being cut off on a daily basis.
This is not true.
Security. These are all things that haven't been tackled.
This is not
being cut off every day.
This is not true. I mean, electricity is cut, you know, millions of times in Mubarak's reign. I would say this, and it's, you know, there are some people who are creating these crises. I would say, and we know them.
Who are these people?
Those people, the remnants, one of them. Some of the Salvation Front people who have some sort of interest in there just to overthrow President Morsi are there. Some people are, I would say, foreign people, foreign agencies, foreign countries who do not want the Islamic project to be prevailing in this country, are there, are behind this, are funding it, are paying money for this. If you're going to quote me, and people can sue me, I can be sued for this. And I'm responsible for whatever I say. And I have got evidence and proof for this. Many of the proofs and evidence is given on air in different programs. And we know some of those people, some of them are behind bars of prison now. And other people are introduced to the court.
But where's the project?
The project is there. The project is there. You don't ask me. You could go and read about it, see the steps doing in the different ministries in the country. Each ministry is working on an agenda, but
so
they are not given the time. They are not given the chance to work in peace. They are creating problems for those people every now and then. I'm not defending them. They are not practicing it in the right way, I would say. But they have an agenda. They have some sort of a plan. This plan is not to be carried out in a day or two or in a month. Usually, you know that strategic planning is usually for 5 years, for 10 years to come. You're coming to have some sort of judging me on the first day. I have my plan. This is not fair at all. But let me continue with the things that
in a nutshell, because I've run out of time, please, Mr. Sharif.
In a nutshell, what sort of manipulation that my colleague has mentioned? The ballot box is manipulation.
No, what
the
the
Shura
president
Council is
said and
manipulation, elections is manipulation. What sort of democracy people would like to come out with? I've got some questions for those people. Tell me, what is the road? Give us a road map to work on, and we agree to it. The day you have overthrown Mohammed Morsi is the day you overthrow any other president to come.
Okay. Mr. Sharif, in response to Dr. Shekhar's comments, do you think that perhaps the opposition has not provided a plan or an alternative?
They are not in a position to provide a plan.
Right.
This is negative.
They are not in a position.
Attitude.
No, they are not in a position.
This is negative attitude.
No, they are not in a
This is
position.
destruction, not construction at all.
They are not in a position, that's one thing.
This is usually the person who is paralyzed, unable to work, unable to walk, usually criticizes other people who are walking and
No,
running.
it's everywhere in the world. You find the opposing party, it's quite clear everywhere in the world. I'm not inventing anything. The opposing party usually kind of opposes.
Right.
Okay?
Opposes what?
And suggests
existing
different
regime.
plans. Of course.
Okay.
Everywhere in the world. And then the existing regime is working. Do you think that Erdogan doesn't have people who oppose him? But he's working.
Right.
Do you think that in Malaysia they don't oppose them? In America they don't oppose them? Obama is being opposed about the medical plan he's got, but he's going away with it. And people are happy about it. And he promised at the beginning of the first fourth term, and after 2 years, people could see that. But in Egypt, President Morsi is promising every day, and he's not fulfilling anything. He's just talking. That's why it's manipulation. And he said things, and then the Shura Council is doing the
I
opposite.
have reservations over the word manipulation.
It's really manipulation.
It's not dictatorship. He's been elected, freely elected. He represents part of the country.
Being freely
all of the
elected
Egyptians.
doesn't mean that you are not a dictator. That's something.
No,
that's something
manipulation
else.
means dictatorship. Manipulation to me is dictatorship.
No, manipulation
I understand
means
it
that
this
you
way.
say something and you do something else, and that's
No,
what
it's not
exactly
this.
he's doing.
No.
So
Go back to the dictionary
Okay.
of the definition of the word manipulation.
Gentlemen, let's agree to disagree. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharif, there's a political analyst, for coming in for the first segment of the Daily Debate. And of course, Dr. Shekhar is Islamic thinker. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a quick break, and then we'll be taking a look at the following report, actually, that's been highlighting the Tamarrud movement that's been sweeping the country, and then we'll be back with our guest to discuss that. So do stay with us.
A number of activists have embarked on inviting Egyptians to sign a petition expressing no confidence in President Mohammed Morsi. Some opposition parties announced support to the campaign dubbed Tamarrud or Rebel. The group's goal is to collect 15 million signatures, almost 3 million more than the number of votes President Morsi received when he was elected by a narrow margin in June last year. They plan to deliver the petition for early elections to the Supreme Constitutional Court, Egypt's highest court, on June 30th, the one-year anniversary of Morsi's inauguration, and to hold a massive demonstration in front of the presidential palace that day. But even die-hard supporters admit there are no legal grounds to call for early elections based on a no-confidence petition. On the other hand, members of the ruling Freedom and Justice Party are against the move. Dr. Mohammed al-Biltagi, a senior leader of the FJP, issued a statement calling the petition no more than a public survey, saying it was useless unless organizers transformed the millions of participants they are talking about into a political party. His statements came as many questioned the authenticity of the signatures being collected, saying some signed the petitions more than once, while ID numbers can be faked without verification. A lawyer for the Brotherhood said that hijacking a political democratic legitimacy constitutes a violation of the law. And one Brotherhood-linked group launched a rhyming pro-Morsi petition called Tagarrud, or impartiality. Egypt's prime minister, which operates under the president, was more receptive. Ala el-Hadidi, the prime minister's spokesman, said he views the grassroots movement as a sign of growth. He said, quote, "I am happy because before nobody spoke, nobody cared, nobody was interested. Now everybody feels that they own the country and have a stake." End quote.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've asked Dr. Shekhar to stay with us for the second segment of tonight's program to give us a more balanced view on our discussion. And joining us here in the studio also is Dr. Marwan Al-Ash'al, international law expert. A very good evening, Doctor.
Good evening to you.
Let's start out by taking your impressions of the whole Tamarrud movement or campaign.
Tamarrud movement is a democratic, civil, proper movement. It has no legal influence whatsoever, whatever millions it reached, but it's just an indicator or a thermometer to the performance of the government and the president for the past almost a year. So it's only to test the waters in the society, how people are perceiving the performance of the government and the president personally. So it seems like they've reached 9 million. I was signature actually to the forum.
How valid the number is, Dr. Marwan?
Absolutely. I think it's in Mari. I confirm it's almost 800,000 in Mari only. That's the district I live in.
800,000.
800,000 in Mari only. That's
but
on my personal
before
count.
you came in, Dr. Shekhar was saying basically that these numbers aren't very precise.
Maybe they are
Right.
not precise at all.
Maybe, yeah, but
I've got evidence anyway.
Could be.
Right.
5, 3, 4, 6.
Right.
Still
But again,
Whatever, but
are
it's a
they?
number,
Do you
it's a
think
number, it's a number anyway.
how important are these figures? How important are these signatures as an indicator, as a thermometer, as you say,
I'm
to
designing
the
something now
Right.
to suspend the president or sue the president personally for malperformance and malmanagement of the country. Because currently Egypt is losing. I'm not talking on a personal level. Now Egypt is losing international positions, and these positions are beyond repair, and the damages are going to be beyond repair. Whether the MBs are still in power or they go off, Egypt is losing and it's collapsing. Serious.
Right.
So there are strategic matters and strategic issues that the country is losing every day by their continuity in power and with this regime. And they usually take from the royal blood of the MBs. They don't believe in experts.
Right.
They believe in trustworthy people and not experts in any field. If this, definitely every ruling system would come in power with their supporters and their people, but that doesn't mean the absolute hegemony of replacing every expert in every field by an MB.
Right.
That doesn't work this way. Life doesn't work this way, and Egypt specifically doesn't work this way. And the last visit to the president to Ethiopia, I believe, was a great shame for all Egyptians. And I think this should have been taken properly from a diplomatic aspect, because it had a lot of training that should have been done before having such a critical visit. Diplomacy is science and is art. It's like exactly business management. It's not a personal influence by all means, and it's not charisma.
Right.
It doesn't rely on that. It's only calculations, and based on certain calculations, positions are taken, and the president represents the country. So if the country would let go of its dignity, then the president would represent such.
What would be